All right, guys, today we're going to get an introduction to our trig ratios. So we have an acronym that helps us identify these trig ratios, and that is SOHCAHTOA. So the S in SOHCAHTOA stands for sine, and the fraction or the ratio that sine equals is O, which is opposite, over H, which is hypotenuse. So they go in order. The C stands for cosine, and its fraction or ratio is adjacent over hypotenuse, and the T stands for tangent. And the tangent ratio is opposite over adjacent. So what do we mean by opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent? So if we're looking at angle A here, they all are a relation to these angles. So angle A is right here where I'm marking it in blue. Of course, the hypotenuse is always the easy side to find. We find the right angle and we go across, and this is the hypotenuse. Okay? The other two are what we have to determine. So adjacent means next to, opposite means across from. So which side is opposite of this angle? Well, opposite of this angle is side BC. So this would be the opposite side. And adjacent means next to. So which side's adjacent or next to this angle? Well, it is this side of AB. So now, the hypotenuse is also adjacent, right? But it's the hypotenuse because it's across from the right angle. So today we're going to work at getting good at finding these fractions and learning our sine, cosine, and tangent ratios. So let's come back to this first problem. On this one, it says which segment is opposite of angle N. So I'm going to mark angle N here. Okay. Of course, we know that this is the hypotenuse. Opposite of N is across from that angle, which is side FO or OF. All right, and the next one says which segment is adjacent to A. So always get good at marking that angle so you know where it's at. Adjacent means next to. Of course, we have two sides that are next to it, but this side here is the hypotenuse because it's across from the right angle. So that means sine AZ has to be the adjacent one. And of course, the next segment is which one's the hypotenuse. So we find there, and it doesn't even give us an angle, because remember, we don't need an angle to find the hypotenuse. We find the right angle and go across. Inside WX is the hypotenuse. So that's just helping you determine hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually find these trig ratios. And this is on your homework. It's going to be a time deal. I'm not so worried about the time. You're going to work the whole hour to get the 20 and the amount of time frame. But you're going to have to get good at saying this. So this says the tangent of N. N is here. Remember, if I'm SOHCAHTOA, tangent means opposite over adjacent. So what is opposite of N? Well, it's 24 over, and what is the adjacent to N? Well, the adjacent to N is 10 because this is the hypotenuse. Opposite, adjacent means next to. So we have 24 over 10 as my ratio. The next one says we want the sine of X. So angle X is here. Remember, with SOHCAHTOA, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So what is opposite of X? 18 over, what is the hypotenuse? 30, and then this side would be the adjacent. So we have 18 over 30 as our ratio for our trig function. So you're going to practice identifying those ratios. It's a time version. Like I said, don't worry about the time at the start. Just worry about getting them right, and then you can get faster as you go.